A large cavalry force was stationed at the foot of the mountain, waiting for orders. The witch-hunting army had come here because they had received word that, in the village led by the Blind King, a woman had conceived a child with normal vision. Currently, the last stone wall in the village had crumbled, but fortunately, a heavy rain had poured down. The witch-hunting army was reluctant to attack, fearing landslides. The Blind King had to use this brief moment to prepare for the next assault. This was not just about saving his entire tribe, it was also because the Blind King had just become a father. The woman the witch-hunting army sought was his wife. Those with normal eyesight were known as witch spirits. So the Blind King was not the biological father of the child. Before meeting his wife, she had already been pregnant, and the biological father of the child was none other than a normal-sighted witch spirit. To prevent his beloved from suffering, the Blind King decided to accept both his wife and the unborn child. Now, as he looked at his son and daughter, the Blind King felt immense relief. However, just as he was celebrating, the sky cleared, and the only exit was occupied by the enemy. If they didn't act quickly, the enemy's cavalry would soon reach them. So with the queen, who had just given birth, not even getting a moment's rest, they began their journey to flee. The blind villagers used knots along the way as markers, slowly making their way toward the back mountain. Just as they had left, the witch-hunting army arrived. The general listened carefully for any sounds but heard nothing from the village. However, one of his scouts, a wind listener, caught the distant sound of two babies crying. At that moment, the Blind King and his group were crossing a narrow, swaying wooden bridge, a difficult task for the blind. The Blind King instructed his wife to use her cane to steady herself, and then, in their usual manner, the others began crossing the suspension bridge. The intense shaking made everyone nervous. Unlike these slow-moving villagers, the witch-hunting army's cavalry was quick and efficient. Leading the pack, the hunting dogs had already picked up the Blind King's scent. The general immediately ordered the chains to be undone, letting the dogs take the lead in the attack. Sensing danger, the Blind King drew his long knife and stood his ground at the bridge entrance, prepared to hold off the pursuing army for the villagers' escape. He didn't realize that while he was locked in a standoff with the hunting dogs, the entire witch-hunting army had already reached the edge of the bridge.